In the latest episode of Ready to Love, potential couples begin to form, and a handful of cast members get into some drama as jealousy and the act of defending their crush's honor leads to some flare ups. So, to begin, Brandon is the one that gets eliminated, and while Habibi is potentially saved, at the same time, it's not necessarily clear if he was just the lesser of two evils or else people are really rooting for him, especially since only Tequila seems really invested in him staying, and everyone else is kind of like, eh. Now, setting aside this sort of mixed emotions and talking about ill emotions, from what it seems, Red is a little bit of a hot commodity since Janelle and Kara both show interest in him. Sierra, she has Herbert, who she's very much interested in. It seems to be reciprocal, even though in the last episode he was very much into Janelle, but the two don't have a date this episode. Setting them aside, Quentin is in high demand as he spends some time with both Aries and also Lee. And Chris and Jessica have a good moment together. As for Marvin, him and Unique have a nice little moment, though I would say when it comes to her, it may more so be that it's about lust than it is about love, but with her being submissive and him a dominant, it seems to be that they could potentially be a match, but it's still very too soon to tell. Going from the positive direction, a lot of people going into the negative, Janelle ends up in a few situations this episode. The first one is with Kira, while Kira's being around Red a little bit too flirty, and Janelle gave some playful but definitely shady comments, whether it's about Kira's age, how she thought Kira's bag was fake, and a lot of little things that was definitely petty and definitely signs of jealousy. But the bigger issue for Janelle came later on in the episode when, between trying to defend Quentin and then calling out Habibi, she kind of got into a little back and forth with Kira, and then Tequila joined in, and Tequila decided to potentially get Buck. Now, to give some details, when it comes to Quentin, Kira and Tequila think that there is a chance that he doesn't date black women. He made a comment about not liking anybody to, I believe, Tequila during the mixer, and for Kira, since she sees herself seemingly as an Oreo, she seems to figure that maybe the only reason why he even shows interest in her is because she doesn't come off like I guess, her version of a stereotypical black girl. Quickly, between Aries, Lee, and Janelle, they shut that down. But the Habibi situation, not so easily shut down, because Habibi went too far with Sierra by saying her mom ate shit over something very little that her mom did, and being that Sierra doesn't play about her mama, she was having none of it. As for Janelle, he made a very vocal comment about what he would do to parts of her body, and being that she just met this Negro, it didn't go well. She got very upset, and with that in mind, that is one of the reasons why he ends up one of the bottom two. Now, as for the second guy that ends up at the bottom two, it ends up being Red. Now, yes, Red has Janelle's interests and to a some degree Kira's interests, but Red did make the misstep of getting on Unique's bad side by trying to have a conversation with her about the whole thought job thing. He questioned it. She doubled down, so he decided he was going to give her back the energy that she gave him and decided to call her a thought, and apparently her insulting him versus him insulting her with the same terminology, it didn't go well, so she makes sure to make it seem like Red is not as nice as some of the other ladies may know him to be. And with that, he ends up in the bottom two, and I should also note, Sierra calls him boring and like a colleague, which also is a feeling that the ladies have. So again, why he ends up in the bottom two. But let's be real here. between Habibi's reckless ass mouth and someone being boring, Habibi gets eliminated. And for Red, it seems that if the ladies think he's boring, he's gonna start bringing out that DJ, that comedian, that party starter, rather than keep it calm, cool, and collected as he's tried to thus far. So get into elimination predictions. I'm gonna say Tequila is gonna probably be the next one eliminated, and Unique may join her in the bottom two. And the reason why I bring those two up is that for Tequila, her coming at a character like that, if that gets around, that could be a red flag for the guys. I mean, granted, she got out of pocket because she was defending a guy that she likes, but there's a lot of ways that could be spun up. Now, as for Unique, the main issue that she has is that I just don't know if Red may decide to poison the well when it comes to her. Never mind, with her intent focused on Marvin and it seeming more lustful than about love, that could also play a role in things, especially if any other woman decides to have any interest in Marvin. Which leads to who of the men may get eliminated, and Marvin more than likely. Most of the women seem to either be intrigued in a kind of disgusted way or intrigued in a sexual way rather than in a romantic way when it comes to him. And as for who may join him in the bottom two, even though I think Marvin's going to be the one eliminated, maybe Marielle. I mean, he does have the whole father thing, which is sweet and could potentially get the woman interested in him, but he wasn't seen this episode, and even though I know that doesn't really mean anything toward future episodes, but it always is kind of a red flag to me when somebody goes missing for an episode. As for final couple predictions, I feel like Janelle and Quentin are going to end up with somebody. Now, as for who the third couple's going to be, that's hard to say, but we have gone many a season when there wasn't a third couple, so there's always a chance we just don't get one. And just for a bonus prediction, I feel like there's going to be some type of twist or something in this season, and I was really thinking about it. Imagine if the twist ends up being that instead of being able to save someone like last season, what if it was that the men got to eliminate the men and the women got to eliminate the women? If just for one elimination. That could be something interesting, especially because at the end of the day, Ready to Love is a competition show, so imagine the men deciding to eliminate somebody that's going after the same woman they are, or maybe somebody they just feel isn't truly ready to love. Heading into the review portion, Janelle, straight up notable part of this episode, and that's because I feel like she gives us the best of both worlds. I believe she is truly looking for love on this show, yet at the same time, she also has the capability of being entertaining for viewers. For whether it is the shade or actually complete overcast when it came to Kira throughout the group date and when the two were in the lounge area, never mind the back and forth with Tequila. I'm not saying that she starts every altercation that she gets in, but somehow she comes out on top and it's all rather comical. Which leads to the on the fence topic, which for me is Tommy. Now, I'm trying to be realistic here. When it comes to that whole Tequila and Janelle thing, what could Tommy have truly done? Yes, sometimes this whole Willy Wonka
Help. Police. Murder. Stop, don't come back.
Whatever. It can be annoying, but at the same time, do we really expect Tommy to get in between these ladies and physically get harmed? Do we expect him to potentially risk his career by perhaps accidentally brazing or touching a woman the wrong way and getting sued for it? Never mind if he injures them. That's the end of his time on this show. So, as frustrating as it is, to a certain point, you can understand when things get really up there why he just sits down and just is entertained, wishing that he had some popcorn. But with that said, while when it comes to a point where things can get physical, I can understand him not doing anything, there's those little minor things where it's kind of like you could address that. Like the whole Unique calling Red, or rather saying Red has a thought job. Tommy is a DJ, not a DJ. Tommy is a radio host, a regular host, a comedian. He's not too far from Red in terms of doing quote unquote thought jobs. So him not speaking up, trying to help Unique understand why Red would say such a thing, why he'd be offended. I feel like that was a missed opportunity, but as we've said many times before, one of the main issues when it comes to Ready to Love is that Tommy's credential is that he's been married for so long. Not that he has any type of relationship counseling experience, a degree, or anything like that, but just that he's been married to the same woman for a long time. Which, as said in Black Love, the TV show, I think in season 1 or 2, you really can't take that much advice from somebody who doesn't love the way you love. I mean, if you watch any couple, whether you're talking about couples in your actual life, YouTube, social media, whatever, you see everybody has different routines. Everybody have different ways of doing things that work for them. So for Tommy's whole credential to be that I've been married to the same woman for decades, as shown, it's a wonderful thing. She seems like a very lovely lady, and I'm happy for them. But at the same time, it's clearly not helping these people who come in this show with so much baggage that clearly, that's rude, that these people come in with baggage which is causing obstacles in finding love in relationships that, again, I just wish that they would hire some type of therapist, preferably a female therapist, that could either work with both the men and the women, just the men, just the women, maybe as a tag team in terms of maybe Tommy just talks to the women about how to find a match, and maybe the woman talks to the men about finding a match, vice versa. Either way, I firmly feel in my soul, as much as I like watching and have watched 9 groups on this show, I don't believe that Tommy should be doing this alone. And I'm not saying let's have his wife join in. No, I mean let's get a professional with an education and training regarding relationships, especially Black relationships, and all the stuff that we go through as people and how we bring that into relationships. Let's please, whether it's preferably for a whole season, but even if it's just an episode, a couples counseling challenge or whatever, that would be so nice to have. Overall, I feel like the goal is here, especially with the way Janelle was in this episode, to have it where Ready to Love can deliver both the drama you expect from a reality TV competition, yet at the same time really honor the idea of what this show is built off of, which is having people find love with another Black person after 30. And as shown, the balance is delicate, hard to pull off, hence why the show has, I don't think yet, found too many couples, despite it having let's do some math. We've had 9 groups of couples on this show thus far. Each group had about 18 people, so that's 162 people. And I think based off of the 100 episode reunion, maybe out of all that we got maybe 5 or so people that were actually with somebody, most of which they did not find on this show. All I'm saying is, it seems like there's more effort made this season, but it's still too early to say that it's been consistent.